How many examples of this are there? Freak athletes who haven't got the slightest idea how to train, who are nonetheless freak athletes by virtue of their parents. Tom Brady, perfect example. Tom Brady. Tom Brady's got an exercise program out that is idiocy. No one could make progress on Tom Brady's workout. But you say, but he's Tom Brady. He's Tom Brady. And we say, we know he's Tom Brady. We know that. And the fact that he's Tom Brady tells you what you need to know about the genetic endowment of Tom Brady. What are Tom Brady's characteristics? He's real good with his hands. He can read a field like nobody has ever read a field in front of him in the NFL. You know, he's better than Fran Tarkenton was. You know. And all of those characteristics are innate in Tom Brady. You can't train that kind of intelligence. This is a physical intelligence that just very few human beings possess. Now, Tom Brady doesn't deadlift 495.
He probably could pretty easily.
But he could in about 3 months.
Right.
And he'd be better behind the line if he did. But he's good enough to be Tom Brady. He's good enough, even in the presence of this shitty exercise program that he advises you to do, despite the fact that it doesn't work, because of what's there anyway. What is there anyway is what you recognize as his amazing ability as an NFL quarterback.
It's a very important distinction that needs to be made, because think of your average high school football coach, even your average college coach, Division III college coach, your average trainer, your average guy that's taking kids and doing, speed school and shit like that. How are they deciding what to do? It's whatever they learned at their exercise science program, if they did it, or what is my favorite team? What is my favorite athlete? What is my favorite shooter?
What does Tom Brady do?
What do they do?
Right?
So we're going to do that, right?
That's what we're going to do, because after all, he's Tom Brady, and what he did must have made him Tom Brady. Right. And that's the point that no one seems to understand.
One of my kids, I asked him if they're squatting at school, and he said they only do front squats because his coach went to a college to do a tour of a college, and guess what they were doing in the weight room that day? Front squats.
Oh, you hear this shit all the time.
So now all they do is front squats at his school. They don't do anything else because he happened to see them do front squats one day in a college, and then now that's the only way you squat.
Yep. Yeah. Now we run up into the problem of intelligence, don't we? We run up into the problem of intelligence, and I've said this 100,000 times, that the vast majority of head sports coaches are not very intelligent. They're not able to analyze their way out of a corner. And this very thing, this is exactly the problem here. The fact that a high-level athlete does anything is irrelevant to your low-level athletes, because high-level athletes, guys with big verticals, guys who learn things easily by copying movement patterns they see, these are what natural athletes are. And natural athletes have big verticals, and they learn visually very, very quickly.
And most important, because it's not just about the physical, it's not just about the attributes, but also they are the product of selection, not development. That's right. A very important thing to understand.
That's right. The recruiter put the athletes together in the locker room. The recruiter selected for these characteristics. He selected for big verticals. He selected for the ability to move on the field. He selected for the ability to be agile and quick and use his strength appropriately. And if you've got a D1 team in the locker room, you've got a bunch of freak athletes, right? Now, here's the horrible thing about that. Horrible thing about that is if you start off with a 55 freak athletes in your locker room, it's going to look like your strength and conditioning people know what the hell they're doing. When the fact of the matter is they probably don't. But the genetics of the team that was assembled for those people by the recruiters masks the fact that your strength and conditioning program is a waste of time. And the only thing you're seeing on the field is the effects of recruiting freak athletes who are already stronger by definition, who are already better on the field by definition, who are already performing at a high level before your functional training intervention ever even stepped into the way. Because functional training interferes with all of these things. What you do, if you're thinking clearly, is you get those athletes as strong as you can get them in the weight room. And you don't use things that look like football. And then you get them out of the locker room, out of the weight room, and you get them out on the football field, and you let them practice football. And then if your football coaches are functioning at the level that they should be, then they help the kids on the field to be better at football. Using a baseline out of the weight room that has been elevated by strength, by the squat, the deadlift, the press, the bench, and power clean. Join us again this week on Starting Strength Radio. We're going to talk about all kinds of very, very important stuff. We're going to spend most of our time this week talking about our idea, the two-factor model. Now, this is an article on the website, and as far as I know, no one else besides us has ever made this observation. I think it's quite valuable. It predicts a lot of things. It prevents a lot of problems. And we're going to discuss the two-factor model on this week's Starting Strength Radio. Join us then.